I probably have talked way too much. I wanted to hear more from you, but is anything you want to add at the end here?
No, I think that certainly I recognize that the court has original jurisdiction over divorces, but that's not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you can't divorce. I'm saying that the unilateral no-fault divorce is what's.
That's exactly what we're talking about. We're saying get rid of the unilateral no-fault divorce, the same system that was under Vladimir Lenin in Bolshevik Russia. That's all we're trying to abolish. Is that so unreasonable?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, and they think that, why can't... I actually had a dissertation by the custody hearing officer in a custody conference talking to me about the divorce, about how terrible it would be if my wife wasn't able to divorce me, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
She can. There's ways of doing that. Yeah. But it's the unilateral no-fault divorce and taking away my constitutional rights without ever having any fault proven of doing any wrongdoing.
You probably know that there was a case in the UK last year, Owens v. Owens, and I think her name was Teenie Owens. Teenie Owens wanted a divorce. Teenie Owens, wanted a divorce from her husband, and her husband was a very wealthy man. Teenie Owens has not been living with her husband. I think in the UK they have to wait 5 years before you can get a divorce like that. But she wants a divorce. She wants to be able to move on with her life. And I've thought, well, you can move on with your life. Obviously, you're doing that. You don't want to move on with your life. You want the goodies. Yeah. That's what you want. You want to have it officially recognized that Teenie Owens is going to move on with her life, and she's also going to get a lot of the goodies. There are instances that would say, okay, you know what? If you want a divorce, you can walk. I mean, if you're saying that I'm chaining you here, I don't agree with that. But why do you get the house? Why do you get my retirement accounts? Why do you get the kids? Why do you have a future claim on my income for child support that if I don't pay, I could be thrown in jail, become a criminal, be considered a person in contempt of court, a deadbeat dad, or a deadbeat mom? It goes both ways.
Which, by the way, that's never been, proven. If you read the stuff by Dr. Stephen Baskerville, that's the whole deadbeat dad theory is.
Yeah, exactly.
There aren't really that. People are actually paying what they're supposed to, what's been.
So and what happened again is, this was, in many instances, it was an issue of poverty. And when you make it so that poor people can't pay, and then you start to say, well, now we've got to. We shame them. And sometimes it's happened to women more and more too, because women are the bread earners in some instances. And it's horrendous what goes on. But like with my friend that I spoke with last night, she was saying, I was not allowed to see my child. They wouldn't let me see my child for a year. And I was paying $1,400 a month. Why am I paying for this? And
probably having never been proven to have done anything wrong.
Never did. Yeah, it was just that. Plus, now being raised by the stepmother because the stepmother was now the mother, and so the stepmother gets to have full time, and then there's a lot of crazy things that happen. But of course, these things they perpetuate themselves. So, like you said, I mean, we are against the unilateral no-fault divorce. Divorce is a tragedy. Sometimes it's a necessity, but in many cases, even in those instances, it's a tragedy. But unnecessary divorce, forced divorce, divorce on demand, unilateral, no-fault divorce, this is an abomination. And the people who really profit from this are the divorce attorneys. And as Ryan said, they don't tell you that there really is no defense. They will keep stringing you along. We're going to be here for you. We're going to do this for you. And $15,000, $20,000 later, and if you really see what's going on, you say, but you can't do anything for me. Well, I've just taken your money. And by the way, the judge has now made it that you must pay him, or that's another reason you could be thrown into jail. And by the way, you may also have to pay your wife's attorney. If you're a wife, you may have to pay your husband's attorney. The whole thing is a racket. It is a putrid mess. And I'm glad that you're standing up for it. Wish you all the best with it. And even more than that, I wish you reconciliation in your marriage and for your children. Your children need both parents living together, father and mother. And I hope that is the ultimate result. And at the same time, I hope that you triumph in this case because it is so needed.
It's been, I've actually, I don't believe there's a lot, coincidences.
Yeah.
I think that, maybe God instances.
Yeah.
Right. And and just over and over how, God's just shown me that what I'm doing is the right
Yeah.
thing to do. I still am trusting that
Yeah.
we will have reconciliation after this. That
Yeah.
I think that, without going into a ton of details, I think that the 40 years of this, dry desert of divorce, similarly to the 40 years of Moses walking through the dry desert, right?
Yeah.
But but God's really shown me that there's really no reason why through what we've been through in the last 2 years that we shouldn't have been able to reconcile in this.
Yeah.
So I believe that this challenge specifically is really what what God would have me do, and then after this is done, to help however many other people that this is going to help, that that our marriage will be honored through it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you have that perspective. What some of the stuff that I've gone through, that I've said there's just no way that this could be all happening the way that it is, except that maybe that God wants to use it for a different purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think that even my parents' divorce, because of what I had to go through to have the persistence that I am to represent this pro se the way that I have, even that the negativity from that divorce is being used in a positive way to help so many more people.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and I hope next time I'm here, whatever that may be, that it's very good news, and that you can maybe be precedent setting throughout the state and the country. Thanks so much.
Thank you.